MichaelSSchmidt, Donald Trump v. The United States, Inside the Struggle to Stop a President. The book, Donald Trump v. The United States, Inside the Struggle to Stop a President, by MichaelSSchmidt, takes us on a riveting journey through the tumultuous events of the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the role of the FBI, and key issues surrounding the Trump campaign. This summary dives deep into intriguing themes such as the FBI's involvement in elections, their influence on events during Hillary Clinton's time as Secretary of State, and the insistence on loyalty by Donald Trump. The author, MichaelSSchmidt, provides readers with an inside account of the several political and legal dramas that shaped the narrative around these events, including the investigation led by former FBI Director Robert Mueller.
Unraveling the 2016 election. The 2016 U.S. presidential election defied expectations, with Donald Trump overcoming numerous controversies to secure victory. The FBI's influence, rooted in earlier events, played a critical role in this outcome. Their investigation into the Benghazi attack led to scrutiny over Hillary Clinton's email practices, contributing to her eventual defeat. In the 2016 U.S. presidential election, Donald Trump accomplished the unimaginable, winning the race despite seemingly insurmountable setbacks. His startling victory left many analysts wondering how he outperformed the highly qualified Hillary Clinton. One key factor in this outcome was the FBI's unusual involvement, linked to events preceding the election. The FBI's impact centered on Clinton's work emails during her tenure as Secretary of State, specifically, those concerning the September 11, 2012 attack on the American embassy in Benghazi, Libya. This calamity coincided with another presidential election, and Republican candidate Mitt Romney seized the chance to criticize the Obama administration's perceived leniency toward terrorists. Before Benghazi, September 11 was a date generally respected as nonpartisan. Consequently, Romney's attack ruffled feathers, particularly among Republicans such as Senator John McCain, who believed it inappropriate to politicize the incident without the full story. Nonetheless, Romney's aggressive tactics represented a turning point, fueling skepticism over Obama's patriotism and suggestions he empathized with terrorists. By 2014, Tea Party members and right-wing politicians called for an investigation into Benghazi. It was during this inquiry that investigators discovered Clinton had been using a private email address. Initially considered a trivial detail, this revelation would prove more consequential than anticipated. The FBI's examination of these events ignited a fierce political firestorm that would burn throughout the election cycle, causing collateral damage to Clinton's campaign and ultimately aiding in Trump's ascent to the presidency. By connecting the dots between discrete historical events, this analysis reveals the extent to which the FBI's actions, and a turning point prompted by Mitt Romney, unintentionally or otherwise, contributed to Trump's electoral triumph. Midyear exam, Unveiling intentions. In 2015, the discovery of Hillary Clinton using a private email account for work brought her under public scrutiny, involving FBI Director James Comey. Comey, known for his charismatic personality and dedication to apolitical principles, disagreed with standard procedures regarding Clinton's investigation. Worried about political backlash, he chose to address the public directly to explain the FBI's findings, hoping to put the issue to rest. Although the press conference left both Democrats and Republicans unsatisfied, Comey's intentions were to mitigate controversy and maintain transparency in a politically charged environment. In March 2015, revelations about Hillary Clinton exclusively using a private email account for her professional duties raised eyebrows and breathed new life into Republican efforts to pursue her. This prompted the FBI, led by its director James Comey, to launch an investigation named Midyear Exam in July 2015. Despite aspiring to be apolitical, Comey felt compelled to speak up about the Clinton case for the sake of transparency. Appointed as the FBI director in 2013, his charisma and hands-on leadership style contributed to a refreshing change from his predecessor, Robert S. Mueller III's approach. Comey avoided participating in political affairs as much as possible, even going so far as to stop voting. However, the Clinton investigation tested his commitment to remaining impartial. Clinton's situation became even more complex due to the ongoing presidential race with Donald Trump. The standard procedure would typically have the FBI close the case, announce the outcome, and move on without a detailed explanation. However, Comey realized that the high-profile nature of the case would inevitably compel Congress to request a hearing. Anticipating this response, Comey decided to address the issue proactively to avoid prolonging the controversy. On July 6, 2015, Comey presented a 15-minute press conference detailing the FBI's findings and reasoning behind their conclusion that no charges are appropriate in this case. He took the time to explain how Clinton and her aides had been careless with sensitive information, ensuring the public understood their decision. However, Comey's press conference did not satisfy either political party. Democrats felt he had overstepped his authority and set a worrisome precedent, while Republicans questioned the terminology used to justify not pressing charges. Despite the criticisms, Comey's intentions were to bring the matter to the forefront and resolve it as quickly and transparently as possible. While it seemed at first that the FBI had closed the case on Clinton's email usage, further developments were yet to unfold, showing that the truth was far more complex than originally perceived. Comey's Catch-22 situation. In 2016, former FBI Director James Comey found himself in a challenging situation involving ex-Congressman Anthony Weiner, married to Huma Abedin, a crucial aide to Hillary Clinton. Through Weiner's correspondence with a minor, Washington discovered additional emails from Clinton on Abedin's laptop. Comey prioritized transparency and the FBI's integrity, and his efforts to remain apolitical backfired. He disclosed the newly found emails to Congress shortly before the election, which may have contributed to Clinton's narrow electoral college defeat. As a result, Comey ended up leading the FBI under the Trump administration amidst a separate investigation into Trump's potential links with Russia. In 2016, an investigation into disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner took an unexpected turn. Married to Huma Abedin, one of Hillary Clinton's top aides, Weiner's miscommunication with a minor led the FBI to find a new batch of Clinton emails on Abedin's laptop. FBI Director James Comey faced a damned if you do damned if you don't situation. Striving for transparency and nonpartisanship, Comey disclosed the newfound emails to Congress just days before the election, despite considering the potential ramifications. Interestingly, Comey's wife, Patrice, leaned toward voting for the first female president. Though she disagreed with his choices, she empathized with her husband's precarious position. As Patrice presciently remarked, "This is going to be bad for you." Indeed, it was. Comey announced the FBI's unchanged conclusions after reviewing the newly discovered emails, yet Clinton's campaign and others speculated that the announcement hurt her presidential bid. Ultimately, fewer than 80,000 votes across key battleground states handed Donald Trump the Electoral College victory, despite Clinton's significant lead in the popular vote. This twist of fate left Comey leading the FBI under the Trump administration. Considering that the FBI began investigating potential dealings between Trump's campaign and Russian agents in July 2016, complications were inevitable. Comey's efforts to maintain an unbiased, transparent stance had unintended consequences, ultimately changing the course of American politics. Unraveling Trump-Russia connections. Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI's investigative operation into potential ties between the Trump campaign and Russia, revealed numerous disconcerting links. Among them were Paul Manafort's history as a paid consultant for Russian oligarchs, Michael Flynn's phone conversations with Russia's ambassador to the U.S., and campaign advisor George Papadopoulos's attempts to establish connections between the Trump campaign and Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As leads connecting Russia to the 2016 U.S. elections continued to emerge, complexities such as the Steele dossier further raised suspicions. While Trump was not initially the subject of the investigation, the overarching implications of his business dealings and associates raised serious questions about potential Russian interference and involvement. In the midst of the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the FBI initiated an investigation codenamed Crossfire Hurricane, prompted by concerns that Russia may have intentionally targeted the election and collaborated with the Trump campaign. Many intriguing leads arose as they began scrutinizing the Trump campaign's connections to Russia and its associates. The campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, had previous ties to Russian oligarchs, including notably having worked as a political consultant for Oleg Deripaska. Furthermore, Manafort partnered with Konstantin Kilimnik, a Ukrainian later linked to Russian intelligence by the FBI. It soon became evident that Russia had, in fact, interfered in the election by hacking the Democratic National Committee's servers, which led to the Obama administration imposing sanctions against Russia. Amidst this tense backdrop, Russia's unanticipated lack of retaliation sparked curiosity. A possible explanation surfaced with Michael Flynn, Trump's chosen national security advisor, who had multiple phone conversations with the Russian ambassador to the U.S. on the same day as the announcement of the sanctions. Much to Comey's shock, Flynn reassured the ambassador that Trump would be more amenable than the current administration. Adding to the convoluted web of entanglements was the Steele dossier, which divulged intelligence suggesting that Russia possessed compromising information on Trump. The dossier hinted at a potential scandal involving Trump in a Moscow hotel room. George Papadopoulos, another campaign advisor, was also under investigation for attempting to establish connections between the Trump campaign and Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Later, it was revealed that Papadopoulos informed an Australian ambassador about Russia's offer to provide damaging information on Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton. While Trump was not explicitly the subject of the investigation, many of his business dealings, particularly those involving his golf courses, relied on Russian investors. This, combined with the unsettling links between his associates, Russia, and the 2016 election, left the FBI with a labyrinth of questions and potential ties to unravel. Loyalty versus integrity, Comey's struggle. When Trump assumed office in 2017, he inherited an ongoing FBI investigation into Russian interference led by James Comey. Eager for Comey's loyalty, Trump insisted on a highly unusual private dinner. This interaction marks the beginning of a tense relationship that ended with Comey's eventual dismissal, a crucial moment that highlights the divergent values of loyalty and integrity. As Trump stepped into the presidency in early 2017, FBI Director James Comey's responsibility was to keep the new president informed about critical issues, including Russia's potential cyber attacks and the controversial Steele dossier. However, things took an unusual turn when Trump invited Comey to a one-on-one dinner in the White House, breaking traditional boundaries of impartiality between the FBI and the president. The intense dinner conversation revealed Trump's underlying desire for Comey's loyalty, a requirement that directly clashed with Comey's commitment to maintaining the FBI's autonomy and integrity. Despite the unease, Comey tried to keep track of their exchange, planning to document it in a memo. The tension bubbled to the surface when Trump demanded, "I need loyalty." Although Comey avoided the topic initially, Trump pushed for loyalty again, leaving Comey with no option but to respond. "You will always get honesty from me," Comey retorted, to which Trump conceded with an ambiguous, "That's what I want, honest loyalty." Just as he planned, Comey meticulously noted down this conversation, as well as all future interactions with Trump in memos. While Trump grew increasingly agitated with Comey's staunch refusal to bend, the FBI got closer to Michael Flynn, Trump's national security advisor, who lied about his communications with the Russian ambassador. Aware that Flynn was cornered, Trump pressured Comey to drop the investigation altogether, going as far as saying, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go." Trump's persistent attempts to shield Flynn bordered on obstruction of justice, leaving Comey in disbelief. Despite Trump's continued efforts to have Comey make public statements exonerating Trump from the ongoing investigation, Comey's devotion to principles of integrity remained steadfast. The mounting tension between individual loyalty and institutional integrity culminated with Trump becoming increasingly convinced that Comey had to go. Juggling Trump's legal demands. Don McGahn, White House counsel during the Trump administration, found his role challenging as he faced a combative president with unrealistic expectations. McGahn, tasked with appointing conservative judges to federal courts, was often sidetracked by the president's demands. He frequently found himself left out of crucial legal decisions, such as the attempted ban on Muslim travelers, which could have benefited from his counsel. Tensions increased when Trump's Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, recused himself from an FBI investigation, leading to anger and distrust. The situation escalated when Trump focused his ire on FBI Director James Comey. The president's frustration with Sessions and his inability to control the investigation led him to demand that McGahn find a way to make Sessions reinstate himself. Law-savvy McGahn recognized the president's demands were often unreasonable, adopting a strategy of deflection in hopes that Trump would turn his attention elsewhere. However, the president's determination to fire Comey could not be deflected. As the dismissal process unfolded, McGahn disapproved but remained excluded from the decision-making process. Trump's plan moved forward with Sessions' approval, incorporating Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein to confirm the firing. Ultimately, Comey was blindsided with the news of his termination. In the end, McGahn's predictions came true, as the repercussions of Comey's abrupt dismissal only escalated the administration's problems. The situation served as a consistent example of the difficult relationship between the White House counsel and a combative, uncooperative president. When special counsel steps in. Following President Trump's dismissal of James Comey, a celebratory Trump met with Russian officials in the Oval Office. Contrary to his expectations, Comey's firing didn't put an end to the ongoing investigation but instead complicated matters further. Acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe ensured the investigation continued, with Rod Rosenstein volunteering to wear a wire in hopes of gathering evidence against Trump. Although McCabe opted for an outside special counsel to proceed with the investigation, Rosenstein assigned Robert Mueller to the case and limited the focus to potential legal violations instead of connections between Trump's administration and Russia. This caused Trump to feel betrayed, and he pressed for a loyal attorney general to protect him. In response to the escalation and new investigations, Trump brought on 2 more legal personnel to assist in handling the case. In an unexpected turn, President Trump found himself in a celebratory mood after firing the former FBI director, James Comey. He even met with the Russian ambassador and foreign minister in the Oval Office, hoping the firing would put an end to the troubling investigation which had overshadowed his administration from the start. Yet, rather than achieving the desired outcome, Comey's dismissal spurred the opposite effect, making it appear that the Trump administration attempted to derail the investigation. This fueled acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe's determination to see the investigation through. In a peculiar twist, Rod Rosenstein, who had been present when the decision to fire Comey was made, offered to wear a wire to gather evidence against Trump. His offer was met with skepticism by McCabe, who instead proposed Rosenstein bring in a special counsel to conclude the investigation. Rosenstein assigned his choice, Robert Mueller, to solely investigate whether any laws had been broken, excluding any further scrutiny into connections between the Trump administration and Russia. The announcement of Mueller's appointment left Trump disgruntled, feeling betrayed by Rosenstein. In a desperate attempt for unyielding loyalty, Trump sought an attorney general who would safeguard his interests and confront his adversaries. As Mueller and his team commenced interrogating White House staff, including Trump's inner circle, the president summoned 2 legal experts to his aid, John Dowd, a retired lawyer, and Ty Cobb, hired to manage the response to Mueller's investigation. Intriguingly, Cobb's strategy involved openly cooperating with investigators, as he believed that answering their questions would quickly conclude the investigation. This bewildered approach, however, left many, including White House counsel Don McGahn, utterly perplexed. McGahn's crucial testimony. When Don McGahn, former White House counsel, became a significant figure within the Mueller investigation, he sought advice from his own lawyer, William A. Burke. As one of Washington's most highly regarded lawyers, Burke provided invaluable guidance to McGahn in navigating the complexities of the investigation. Suspicion grew that President Trump and his counsel, Ty Cobb, were planning to pass the blame for potential obstruction of justice onto McGahn. In light of this, Burke advised McGahn to answer every question truthfully in his interviews with Mueller's team. As a result, McGahn revealed several instances of Trump attempting to interfere with the investigation, becoming a key witness in the process. As the Mueller investigation continued, Don McGahn, who served as White House counsel, played a pivotal role as a prime witness. McGahn relied heavily on the expertise of his attorney, William A. Burke, who found it difficult to comprehend why White House staff were undergoing interviews without proper preparation or review. Trusting Burke's guidance, McGahn proceeded with caution. McGahn and Burke consulted with Ty Cobb, counsel to President Trump, regarding access for Mueller's team to interview White House staff. While Cobb insisted on cooperating fully and swiftly, McGahn doubted the approach, considering his first-hand experience of Trump's attempts to influence the investigation. Despite arising suspicions, McGahn and Burke couldn't ignore the prospect of being framed by Cobb and Trump. The distrust escalated when a New York Times reporter accidentally overheard a conversation between Cobb and John Dowd, another attorney for Trump, that implied a White House lawyer was spying for McGahn. Cobb's mention of acquiring documents from McGahn's safe only fueled their suspicions. Fearing the possibility of being scapegoated, Burke advised McGahn to openly and honestly address every question during the interviews. Consequently, McGahn detailed instances where Trump had ordered him to fire Mueller and pressured him to convince Attorney General Jeff Sessions to regain control over the Russia investigation. Ultimately, McGahn's openness propelled him to prominence as a key witness for Mueller's team. By divulging information on Trump's interference attempts, McGahn provided crucial insights into the administration's inner workings, substantially influencing the trajectory and outcome of the Mueller investigation. Trump's boundaries tested amidst Mueller investigation. Despite the ongoing Mueller investigation, President Trump continued to push the boundaries of his role, leading White House counsel Don McGahn to educate him on governmental procedures. McGahn found himself in a tight spot, attempting to maintain a balance between loyalty to Trump and adherence to the law. Meanwhile, Trump repeatedly ignored McGahn's advice on handing out presidential pardons. In March 2018, shortly after Don McGahn faced questioning from Mueller's team, acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe was terminated from his position. Similar to Comey's firing, McCabe's dismissal sparked the Mueller team's interest. Nevertheless, Trump persisted in exercising his executive power to target his adversaries, directing McGahn to prosecute Hillary Clinton and James Comey. Perplexed by Trump's inability to comprehend the constraints placed upon his presidential authority, McGahn attempted to educate him on the workings of the government. Collaborating with White House attorneys, he crafted a comprehensive 10,000-word memo elucidating the Constitution, presidential history, and the reasons behind Trump's inability to arbitrarily prosecute his opponents. However, there's no indication that Trump ever read the document. McGahn informed the Mueller team about this memo and, when questioned about Trump's intentions towards Comey, he revealed Trump's desire to prosecute both Clinton and Comey. During this period, Trump publicly expressed his belief that Comey should be incarcerated. As Comey was a key witness in the Michael Flynn case, Trump's statements captured the attention of the Mueller team. Simultaneously, McGahn supplied real-time information about White House happenings, navigating the delicate divide between his loyalty to Trump and his commitment to the truth. While he didn't intend to hurt the president, McGahn refused to deceive federal investigators. Adding to the tension, Trump consistently disregarded McGahn's counsel regarding presidential pardons. Trump's propensity to grant pardons became increasingly apparent, with one notable example being Joe Arpaio, a former Arizona sheriff. Arpaio, convicted of criminal contempt of court, was also a staunch advocate of anti-immigrant policies. Despite McGahn's warnings, Trump proceeded to pardon him. Additional pardons ensued, and rumors began circulating that McGahn actively obstructed the pardon of Paul Manafort, convicted of fraud in connection to the Mueller investigation. McGahn's tightrope walk between loyalty and truth became ever more precarious amidst these strained circumstances. Power play and controversial exits. As tensions between McGahn and Trump escalated, McGahn played a key role in shaping the judicial system and contributing to the Mueller investigation. Despite his departure, controversies lingered with the Trump administration's handling of the investigation's outcome. In the thick of 2018, Don McGahn, the White House counsel, found his relationship with President Trump deteriorating. He suspected a disinformation campaign constructed to drive a wedge between them, with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump possibly orchestrating it. McGahn's opposition to Kushner's top-level security clearance might have been a driving factor. McGahn's true passion was appointing judges. Despite the hostile environment, he remained at the White House, driven by the unparalleled influence he wielded in strengthening the conservative judicial system. By late 2018, he was facilitating the appointment of Brett Kavanaugh, his second Supreme Court Justice nominee. However, McGahn confided in his friend, William J. Hughes Jr., that he was close to his breaking point. He decided to leave the White House following Kavanaugh's nomination, to which Trump responded by announcing McGahn's departure, implying it was his decision. As McGahn left, the Mueller investigation reached its climax, surrounded by controversy. The investigation's conclusion did little to quell ongoing concerns. Though Trump faced no charges, he wasn't exonerated either. Interestingly, Attorney General William Barr chose to release his own summary of the findings rather than use the 13 pages prepared by the Mueller team. As a result, the Justice Department led by Barr had the upper hand in framing the investigation's public narrative. Several Trump associates, like George Papadopoulos, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, and Michael Flynn, were indicted throughout the course of the investigation. Eventually, Trump granted presidential pardons for some and others saw their cases dismissed under Barr's Justice Department. Barr seemed to be the loyalist Trump had been seeking. Throughout the investigation, McGahn proved invaluable as a cooperative witness. Unbeknownst to the White House at the time, he provided almost 1,000 pages of handwritten notes to the Mueller team. His departure marked the end of a tumultuous chapter, but the questions and controversies sparked by the investigation marched on.
In conclusion, Donald Trump v. The United States, Inside the Struggle to Stop a President, provides a comprehensive account of the political tremors that marked the Trump campaign and presidency, uncovering the hidden facets of power struggles within the White House. Schmidt's compelling coverage of this complex saga leaves readers with a better understanding of the key events he discusses and their significance to the ever-evolving landscape of American politics. If you're looking to expand your knowledge about the behind-the-scenes world of politics and pivotal moments in recent history, this book summary serves as an insightful overview that will captivate and inform.